I move that the town amend the vote taken under Article 1 of the special town meeting of October 7th, 2024 by increasing the borrowing authorization by the addition of $3 million for a total bond authorization of $28,600,000.
The state revolving fund administrators have advised that expected reimbursements, such as the $1.5 million federal earmark and at least $1.5 million from the PFAS settlement proceeds, cannot be included in the SRF funding formulary. As a result, the town must authorize an alternative funding source to meet SRF requirements and finally secure financing. The Finance Committee does unanimously recommend approval of this article, as the proposed borrowing does not increase the cost of this project. It is intended to solely satisfy the SRF conditions. The town will borrow only what is necessary and then will seek town meeting approval to rescind any unused portion of the borrowing authorized once the project has been completed.
We are asking for an increase in bonding authorization, yet we have no desire to borrow any additional monies. When we had a conversation at our last town meeting, we walked through the sources for this. That has not changed. We are seeking some 0% financing or near 0% financing. In order to be approved for that, we need to have direct sources tied with this project. And unfortunately, two of the sources that we know are good sources were not acceptable to the state. And I just want you to know that we did ask for an exception to not have to go through this process with all of you. We went up, the governor was involved with this as well to look at it, but because some of the funds that we're relying on are federal, they basically have to, they were not allowed to make any exceptions. It was one of those things where you feel like you're on a website and it won't listen to you, or you're talking to a robot on the phone. It's like, this makes total sense. Why won't it work? I just need a person on the phone to fix this. And we weren't able to do it. So
last year when we were putting this project together, and this is information we took to town meeting, but we also took to the state over a year ago, showing that we were going to fund this project with $25.6 million of borrowing authorization that we intended to go to SRF for, to take advantage of their low interest rates. Unfortunately, as Mr. Kelly has just said, SRF, who we want to operate as our bank for this project, says that the federal earmark and the PFAS settlement, because they're not in hand yet, don't count, and we no longer have enough funding available. So we actually only have $26,989,000 available. We don't agree with that assessment. The federal earmark we feel very solid about. We've already received a little over $800,000 in the last couple of weeks towards the PFAS settlement, so we think we're easily going to make that $1.5 million in the next 2 years. But regardless, our bank says you need to come up with $3 million more. So how are we going to do that? That's what we're asking you for tonight. Authorization to borrow another $3 million, so the state will look at that and say, oh, you have enough authorization for enough money. We'll go ahead and bond you at the zero or low interest loans, and we'll start the project. We'll borrow from SRF at that favorable rate, and we will use our PFAS money, and we will use our federal earmark money right away. And we won't borrow. We have no intention of borrowing that $3 million that we're going to authorize tonight.
I would just say, from my perspective, this is the same project that we were here talking about in the spring. Basically, everything is the same. It's the same project. It's the same goals. We need more capacity and we need clean water. We know that we need to do this project. The only difference is that the state needs a little bit more information from us. But really, the project is the same, the cost is more or less the same, and actually even our way of paying for it is the same, even though it's going to look a little different on paper. So I would strongly encourage everyone to vote yes for this. We definitely want to save those $10 million potentially on interest costs. I know we have a lot of projects in town, and $10 million is a lot of money.
All those in favor of this article, please raise your cards. Thank you. Please lower your cards. Those opposed to this article, please raise your cards. I call that a unanimous vote.